Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Monday the 29th of January. So, as the first month nears the end, we've got quite a bit coming out this week. If I just flick onto the calendar here and just looking at January then, late January then. 29th actually, I'm saying there's a lot coming out this week. It doesn't seem to be much today then. In fact, there's nothing reported here, but yeah, I have got everything on there. I'm just checking I've got everything listed. Okay, so what we do have then really starts off on Wednesday. The big news comes out on Wednesday as we run into the Fed meeting in the afternoon there, so I expect volatility to pick up around that. Then Thursday we've got the Bank of England, and then Friday we've got non-farm payrolls. So it's a quiet start, but we've got some potential volatility today. Well, not a lot of news. Probably will stick in the ranges. Let's look at these ranges. Here's the euro dollar. Well, it's not it was sitting in a range, started moving, looks quite nice that it was going to continue, and that was that. It's sitting in a range. I've already seen comments this morning that from the ECB that the ECB could cut rates at any time this year. Well, yeah, okay, that was not too helpful, is it, in terms of giving anyone any ideas when. So at the moment, looking soft, remaining soft. It's a drift. If you look at this is last week, you can see between the pivots here, and you just see what a mess it was. Now it has got a range, but even the range is breaking out of the range and then making a new range. We'll see what happens this morning. We've got the weekly pivot. This week's pivot is just above there. That would be quite nice to be selling into if it looks like it's going to do anything, but it's already into its daily pivot here at this stage. Maybe a break of the lows here. We could see us running down to the S1 and the Friday's low. So there's some scope there, but I'm not too sure what's going to drive it today. The pound, well, it continues in this consolidated pattern. I really can't do anything with it personally whilst it's like this. It's not tradable there. Dollar yen. Morning, Paul. The dollar yen, well, again, it's become quite range bound, and it might be that we're just waiting for this week's news. It always seems like we're waiting for one bit of news or another bit of news, and well, it's the case at the moment, unfortunately. Looking at the 4 hourly, we've got an ascending channel sort of running up there. We see it a bit clearer on the hourlies here. This ascending channel running up. Maybe a break of that. We'll see the depth of the channel moving. We'll see it moving back, maybe down towards its S2 sort of area, maybe a bit more. We just need to do a measure on that, but there's a possibility. All things could change, of course, come 8 o'clock. We see a lot of movement off. It's recovered and it still sits in this tight range that it's that we can see here on the 4 hourlies the whole last week in this tight range. We had the resistance that was holding most of last week, that weekly pivot, but of course that's gone now. But we've still got another one. It's just an ugly old site and risky. And when it's such a tight range, it's not even fun trying to trade the ranges themselves. Sorry, I've just got alarms coming off there. We'll look at that maybe. Okay, the US dollar CAD, with oil prices improving, etc., maybe we could see a little bit more of a breakdown here. I'm looking at it on its yearly pivot, where it bounced off on Friday again. Maybe a bit more oomph that could cause that to roll over and look a lot better. It might be the saviour. Now I said the euro CAD, I just had an alarm on it. I'm just going to have a look at what I was setting. Okay, so I was putting alarms around the lows here. So this is starting to move now. So I will be looking at this in my session this morning. It's okay. It's sitting into its daily S1 at the moment, but we're starting to get a bit of movement. There's potential for this to start breaking out. This will be a bit of a swing trade, but I'll look at it a little bit more in some detail in a short while. Right, where do I get to? US CAD, New Zealand dollar. New Zealand dollar still sitting in its range, much the same. I mean, there's a little point going below these at the moment. There's not a great deal happening. And there's the Swiss's range. So all sitting in ranges, very difficult ranges. A lot of them trade because of the size of the ranges is changing. The 1 minute you've got a half decent range, the next minute it's, well, here we go. And then it's shortened quite a bit, but it's actually stepped itself out the way of this trend now, but it hasn't broken the lows from this point here. If it breaks this would look quite a lot softer. Okay, so not a great deal happening there. The Euro CAD, get the right one. Euro CAD showing a little bit of promise. Very ugly from a 4-hourly point of view though. So as I said, it's a swing trade if it starts moving, but I'll judge that later. So if you want to join me in the room later, just come along, and there's a link, or there will be a new link coming up very shortly underneath this video. Don't use the current one. Right, let's have a look at these other markets. Starting off with gold, one would have expected this to shove up quite a bit with the further escalation of problems in the Middle East here, and well, it has moved up a tad. It's close to its upper range there. That 200 seems, or around that 200 seems to have been holding it as resistance for now. It's showing some signs that it might be moving further. Gold is much clearer here on the dailies. It's broken. It started in its trend. As I've been saying for a long time, I was more surprised the fact it wasn't moving up. Now it's going, well, that's pretty much in line with expected. It's just waiting for the opportunity now today. It did fire off on Friday there, Friday afternoon. I wasn't around to trade that, which was probably just as well because it fired backwards afterwards, but a nice move back to the pivot today could be quite nice, and then look for the bounce. But the trend is certainly to the upside there, and the risk is certainly in favour at the moment. S&Ps, well, there's not a lot holding I say not a lot holding back. They've got into a tighter range again now. With the FOMC this week, I think it might be more of the same here as we run through. Nasdaq, no real difference. If anything, it softened a little bit there on Friday, but these three markets largely sitting around their highs there, looking ready to pounce for further upside. However, be careful. The DAX. So DAX, that has broken out. It's halfway, a bit more than halfway the depth of the descending channel there. The R1 still looks favourable to me, so it still looks like from an intraday point of view there's scope for that to push up further. Just wait until post 8 o'clock, see what happens then. But in fact, it's looking just a tad soft there. It's just filled its gap, but bit of patience this morning, and that might continue to push on. The pound, well, oil prices, higher oil prices normally give the pound a decent kicker, and we're seeing that reflected on the FTSE here. I said the pound a decent kicker, the FTSE a decent kicker, and off its run. It's on the underside of its monthly pivot at the moment, but looking a lot more positive than it was. It's been a laggard. It's been well behind the others. Might get a bit of catch up here. We do have the Bank of England reporting later in the week. We'll see how it gets affected. It might just stall as we're leading into that. Okay, that's pretty much it for a moment. I'll leave that there. I'll catch you if you want to join the room. There'll be a fresh link on the bottom of this YouTube video in about 2 or 3 minutes. Okay, catch you later. Bye for now.